Good evening, associates. This is Ken Goldberg in Orlando, Florida. It's now 9 p.m. on March 25th, 2021. I want to welcome you all to our corporate training updates. We'll have some Q&A tonight and lots of information on some of our new programs that our CEO has announced recently. So let me go and find our Vice President in charge of marketing and all the other things, Mr. Scott Grimm. Let me find him. It keeps moving on my screen here. I think I got you, Scott.
Hey, Ken, good evening. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you.
Great. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's corporate exchange. Glad to have so many on the call this evening. Let's see, we got about 29 on here now. I certainly expect that to continue to grow over the next few minutes as we've got some tremendous updates and news coming tonight from Carlos, as we normally expect. So he's a hard guy to keep up with, but he's certainly bringing some great things our way, like the new commercial lending opportunity, the ability for us to have listings now, and just so many other things. So it's great to be with you all here this evening. I hope everybody had a great day today. How was your day today, Ken?
You know, it was a beautiful day. Got to go out and do some yard work this evening before I came in, and talked to a lot of some of our associates. Had a lot of questions, and I asked them to be on tonight's call because I know we're going to get a lot of those questions answered.
Absolutely. I know on my coaching call this evening and yesterday, we certainly, a lot of us felt like we were at the crossroads right now. We're certainly, in this day and age that we live in, technology keeps changing so rapidly. It's funny, about the time you learn things that you think are going to be useful and valuable, all of a sudden the technology changes and and you're off to something new. So it's part of I guess, a way of life now for many of us. And
yes,
tonight I think we're going to be hearing and seeing some things that will bring some clarity as far as how things are going to work for us in the future with these new vertical opportunities that we have. We'll be hearing from Carlos how a lot of that's going to be working. So it should be a great evening, a very informative evening, and certainly looking forward to that. Just want to thank all of our great associates on the call here tonight. We've got 35 now and still growing. So appreciate all of you being here tonight. And you hear me say a lot that 90% of success is showing up, and that's not just something I'm pulling out of a hat. That's a fact. That's a reality. And when you show up for these types of calls, you're going to learn something. You're going to get valuable information. It can be that one thing that makes the difference between you closing a big deal or not even knowing about an opportunity. So, thank you for being here tonight, and know that you should make every effort to be on every call, to be, as actively engaged in any opportunity that you have in life or in business, to be fully engaged, and leaning into our future, that LEAN acronym, leveraging everything actively now, that's what you want to be doing. So you can leverage the knowledge that you're going to learn tonight. You can leverage the relationships and learn and grow. So, it's great to have you all here tonight. And again, 90% of success is just showing up. It's so true. We see oftentimes, those of us that are in some type of leadership, how sad it really is oftentimes to hear people that, are involved in an organization or an opportunity, and they haven't been, coming to meetings. They don't know what's going on. And then suddenly they hear about, some success or some, opportunity. And they're sitting there, scratching their head and saying, well, how come I wasn't told about this? Or I didn't know that we were doing, things this way now. And really it's a sad thing, but, just be encouraged that you being here tonight is going to really help give you the tools, the information that you need to be successful. So thanks again for being here tonight. And we're going to get Carlos on here just shortly. But Ken, do you have anything that you wanted to add? Anything with Facebook or any of the postings or anything that you wanted to talk about real quick?
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Just want everybody to know that I believe Carlos is working on, we had talked about having a presentation just for home buyers as well as a presentation just for our associates to come on board. I know that's in the works now. And so I believe 2 nights a week, we're going to start soon, just presenting to our home buyers, and it'll be a shorter presentations. And we talked about doing some Q&A with our new guests on the line. So I think that's going to be coming along pretty soon too. So you'll see a new format here. I know that you're having some good success Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. You're doing a presentation on all of the verticals that are available to our new digital marketing specialists. Facebook page is coming along really nice. We don't post anything unless it's a happening. You'll find out that as the news comes out from Carlos, I'll post it up there. You'll post information up there as well. And that's the FMH Associates page. And I just want to remind everybody, the only folks that can get onto that page are current associates, digital marketing specialists, because they have to get on with their current ID number. We don't let anybody else into the group until they've become one of our associates, and that's the way it works out. What are you thinking, Scott?
Well, I think that's a great format for us, and you're doing a great job with our Facebook page, and certainly appreciate all the hard work. You brought up an interesting point that just made me think for a minute, Ken. My corporate opportunity, business opportunity call at 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. I must say it's become more of a coaching call for our associates than an opportunity call. And although I'm not opposed to that at all, if that's where the need is, certainly I'll continue to serve in that capacity during that time. But I would highly recommend to all the associates on board this evening that you take full advantage of these opportunity calls. These calls are designed for you to be inviting guests who are interested in the business opportunity. And we certainly work hard at presenting and trying to really, to be honest with you, to close them on joining Fund My Home, becoming an associate as much as possible. It's not a hard close. If you get guests on the call, almost every time someone will join us if they join one of our opportunity calls. If you want to build your team, and again, the model that you should be striving for each of us is to get at least 8 personally sponsored associates on your team, and then watch your team grow from there. And by getting 8, you're going to qualify for 8 levels of overrides. If you yourself get 1 transaction per year, not 1 per month, 1 successful transaction per year, then you will qualify for 8 levels of overrides, having yourself attained personally sponsored 8 personally sponsored associates. So that's there for you Monday through Friday for all of our associates. Okay. With that, we have Carlos now in the house, and I'm sure he's ready to start sharing some exciting news. Carlos, are you there?
Yes. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the call this evening. Glad to hear from you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to our Q&A session tonight. And we do have some really good questions, and we had a really good reaction to last week's announcement coming into marketing, commercial lending, commercial real estate. So this is not a deterrent from down payment assistance. This is not diluting down payment assistance. This is not creating a new company either. This is giving everyone a vehicle that can run in different tracks. So this vehicle is being put together as such a magnificent vehicle that in a metaphors can be looked at as a V8 with twin turbos. What it needs is good drivers to drive it hard and to choose what weekend or what road course they're going to drive in. So if you're going to drive it in a quarter mile, you're going to beat everyone because we have more power than anybody else. If you're going to drive it in another track, whether oval or race or road course, fine. But don't drive it in the water because it's going to be destroyed. It's not yet a amphibious vehicle, but it may be soon because we are building an amazing vehicle for all of us to drive. But it is us who needs to drive it hard. So that's my job. I build the system and it's for all of us to take advantage of it. So thank you for your patience, for your support, for your participation. I say it all the time. I am humbled with having your trust, with having one person's trust or 4,000 or 5,000 people. It just humbles me and I tend to always respond to anybody. So, okay. So let's go with some questions, Ken. And then we'll continue, and then I'll show you what we have to show you for this week.
Okay, very good. Here's some of the questions. We have one, actually several from Karen Williams. The first one, could you please add the 80% loan to value to the commercial flyer you posted on Facebook to eliminate the tire kickers? And Carlos said, go ahead and do that. And I have done that, and I'll repost that to Facebook probably tomorrow. Do you have anything to say on that, Carlos?
Well, thank you, Ken, for responding to that. Yes, and we spoke about that. And yes, it is a very good suggestion because it's not just the tire kickers. People need to know this. Someone may think that this is 100% financing, and then we won't be able to help them. So the maximum loan to value for this particular program, commercial program that we are offering, and this is just the beginning on a number of other areas in commercial lending and commercial real estate. But this particular program that we put together is easy to understand, it's easy to apply and to qualify. It's easy to find a property that will at least have rental income that equals the mortgage payment. This is not difficult at all. And just to give you an example, and I spoke about it the other day. So I'm going to give an example of Tom Thornhill. He brought in a transaction for review, and it is a transaction that is $680,000 purchase price. The transaction brings in $6,000 a month in rent. So when you calculate the mortgage payment, that amounts to about $3,500 a month for the mortgage payment, the taxes, insurance, etc. So the property brings in $6,000 a month, which is much more than is needed. To get an approval on something like that, you only would have need $3,500 a month. But this transaction, a $680,000 transaction, brought in $6,000 a month in rent. So the question is this extraordinary? Is this a fabulous property? No, this is a very ordinary transaction because $600,000, the average rental income of any property is going to yield you at least 1% per month of the property value. So 1% of 600,000 is $6,000 a month. So the transaction is really ordinary, very typical. What's not typical is how you get an approval with such ease and not having to have income documentation and etc. So now on this, thank you, Ken. So we got now where the flyer talks about 80% loan to value, because people need to know. And it also says 1 to 4 unit residential, because we are starting this with only residential property. So residential property is any dwelling for housing that is up to 4 units. A dwelling for housing that is 5 or more units, then it becomes commercial. So we're doing this as a commercial transaction, so to speak, but for residential properties. Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go to the next question. And that is, can this lender allow a seller to carry a second to cover the 20% down?
No, that doesn't happen at all in any type of investment lending or commercial lending. So when they mean 20% down, it means real down payment, not a second mortgage, because then it's 0 down. So that will be an example of having combined loan to value. So 80% from the lender, 20% from the seller, that's combined loan to value, and that is not then considered down payment. So there has to be a 20% down payment here.
Okay. Next question. What if some of the apartments are vacant? Can we, can we use renters waiting to rent this property?
Yes. So the property could be vacant. What's important is that what the appraisal report says. If the appraisal says that the potential income of the property is X, then you will go by that. Of course, there's other compensating factors. If the investor is the first time doing it, the lenders may have some other conditions, but typically the investors have previous experience, and it can be done. I'll give you an example. Miss Peach, she has a transaction where the property just got finished rehabbing, and the property is not rented. None of the units are rented, but she can get a letter of intent from the city because they're renting it as Section 8. So that would be an example of what would be a compensating factor if it's not rented. But this is not written in stone. There's different ways to mediate with the property being vacant. It could be that the property just got built, just got rehabbed. So in that situation, ideally, you want to have it already rented, and most properties will be rented already. But it can be used some compensating factors for a situation like this.
Okay. And Karen asks her last question, can we use a co-borrower, spouse, or friend?
Yes, a buyer and co-buyer are allowed, accepted.
Okay. For the home sellers program, I'm going to assume that's the grant program. Does this include real estate investors? And then the rest of the question, for example, someone who purchases and remodels the home and now looking to flip it.
That's correct. They could buy it for temporary use, to hold it, to flip it. It's up to the investor.
Okay. That was from Maritza. We have Bruce's question. What is the maximum loan to value? Next is an appraisal performed? Does the client pay for the appraisal? And is there an application so we obtain all the required information needed for the loan?
Okay. Okay. What is the maximum loan to value, you say?
Yes.
Well, the maximum loan to value is 80%. The next question is,
Is an appraisal performed?
yes, the investor has to pay for their own, and whatever fees that they are, they have to pay for the appraisal, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And-
And the other question,
Yeah, the other is there an application so we can obtain the required information needed for the loan? I've had several of those questions this week trying to locate information on how they go about this.
okay, so that I'm going to show you tonight what we've done, how the transactions are going to begin to be introduced and submitted.
Okay, we'll move on to our next question. Will Fund My Home lenders do construction takeout, which is permanent loans on new construction?
Well, for this product, this is not a construction to perm transaction. This product. There will be other types of programs coming in, but this is not a construction program. This is only for the property to be existent and for the property to be purchased with 20% down.
Okay, the next question. For the range of 375,000 to 1.25 million on the commercial real estate loans we were given, do those numbers represent 80% loan to value amount or the appraised value of a property, net or gross?
Okay, so that represents exactly the purchase price is what shows on the top of the flyer, not the value of the property. So it says $375,000 to 1.25 million, and that is the purchase price. 80% of that, if the property value was 1.25 million, 80% will be $1 million maximum loan amount at this time.
Okay. Are any type of loans excluded that are considered commercial real estate? Reference, yeah, gas stations and restaurants, they're not residential.
Okay, so on this, those other types of commercial transactions will be available very soon. But today, so that we all get acquainted and we get proficient and we have some of us, all of us make some money immediately, we're going to just get good at this, at a simple transaction that is easy to understand. 1 to 4 family unit is about housing. Somebody wants to invest, they found a good deal, the rent is equal to the mortgage payment. Easy transaction, no tax returns, no income limits, no job listed, done and approved. The investor is happy. The associate member makes $7,500. We keep on moving. Later, we are going to come in with other types of transactions, which will include many different examples, including the ones that this associate is asking for.
Okay, another question Stuart has is he wants to know if our sales funnel would send a commercial loan prospect directly to our lender or lenders.
No. The sales funnel is going to send your prospect directly to you. Only to you. And then you're going to submit it through the system. And I'm going to show you in a moment what that is. Hold on just 1 second, please. And I'll show you in a second.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Very good. Okay, so good news. All right, so completed. All right, so Ken, let's go to to
Okay.
the front of the page, please.
I have one more question. So I think it's
Okay.
we need to answer. Stuart's asking, are there any grants available for commercial loans?
Thank you, Stuart. This is the down payment assistance is only for our homeownership drive, for homeownership opportunities. Down payment assistance is just for home buyers, for down payment assistance grants recipients, homeowners, home buyers. So what we've done is we are relocating or reallocating those funds, and we now are, because there is no down payment assistance for commercial investment property, we are, and this is one of the reasons why we are paying our associates 10 times as much. So you get paid $7,500 and share in a potential $24,500 in team override. So no down payment assistance for commercial properties.
Excellent. Okay. You want to go to the website page?
Let's go to the, yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, so now we now have not just down payment assistance. So now we have where we can market for home sellers who wish to list the property for sale, and now for real estate investors. So I had to redo the page a little bit. So we renamed it, some of the menus. So where it used to say know how, and next to it, it used to say home buyers apply here. So now it is home buyers know how, and the sub menus that were on the right were now loaded on the under home buyers know how. So the submit your application, the supported documentation, and follow your progress is now under the home buyers know how section. So from here, a home buyer can read and learn about our process, and then apply for the payment assistance. So you would go to submit your application, and you will find the familiar contents in the video. And at the bottom, if you scroll down, you will have your home buyer create the home buyer ID number and arrive at a account area. Okay, so this is where they will register, but let's go back and go to returning home buyers. So you got the,
Yes, I did.
okay. So when somebody comes to our website as a home buyer, they're going to come in through this menu, home buyers know how, submit your application. So now they just created an account. They have their home buyer ID number. And in here, now we have some new tabs. So on the left, we have home buyer. So if you click in there, it's going to give them their home buyer ID number. It is going to give them the workflow. And right there on the blue button, that's where they will submit their pre-qualification questionnaire. That's where they will go in and complete the questionnaire. And once it's completed, it generates a success page and a link to our calendar to have their pre-qualification questionnaire review call with the 501c3 counselors. So let's go back to the account area. So now somebody came in through your system as a home buyer. They go through the home buyers know-how and then submenu, submit your application. Okay. Now, if somebody comes in, so go to the main menu called customer ID. So now if you have a prospect that it is an investor or a home seller, you don't bring them to the home buyer section. You bring them to the customer ID and create your customer ID number. So here's simple. It says you must first obtain a customer ID, and this is subdivided in three, which is home buyers. Home buyers can go through here if they wish. Also, then home sellers, and then real estate investors. So scroll down a little bit, and you have the same entry where the new investor or the new home seller or even a new home buyer can create a customer ID number. So go back to that account if you can, to the home buyer's account right there. Okay, so we have now different tabs. Anybody that enters the website is going to have reserved ID number. So hit the home seller tab. Okay, so the home seller tab will now have your home seller information, the name of the person, and now the ID number. The ID number is now going to be shown as HS, which is home seller, and the number. And of course, on the right side, you're going to see the enrolling sponsor. So right there, you have a button, a blue button that says home sellers, submit your property listing information here. And of course, in the bottom, there's a video and there's some content for them to know. But if they were to hit that blue button, they will go straight to a questionnaire for them to list their property. So that's the home sellers intake. So go back to hit the back button. And the same way will be for the real estate investors. So the next tab on the right, you have real estate investors. And now the investor ID number is real estate investor ID number. So it will be real estate IV, so real estate investor, you got the number. And on the bottom, you have your content. And that's the content that we're speaking about tonight, most likely what you guys wanted to talk about tonight. So go ahead and play that video that is right there. Yes, that video. It's a short video. Go ahead.
FundMyHome.org now markets commercial real estate and commercial lending. You can now help our lenders and realtors sell commercial real estate. FundMyHome.org now offers its associate members another great, new colossal market. In addition to earning marketing fees for marketing our home buyers down payment assistance grants program, our associate members can now earn marketing fees when they market friends and family to purchase and finance commercial real estate through our preferred lenders and realtors. Associate members can now earn $7,500 in marketing fees when they personally sponsor real estate investors to purchase or finance commercial real estate, plus share in $24,500 per transaction in team overrides. This arrangement presents our associates with an extremely lucrative reason to solicit friends and family to use FundMyHome.org in their commercial real estate investment ventures. Let's take a look at the details of one of our offers. Residential real estate investment properties. $375,000 to $1,250,000 purchase price. Rental income equals to mortgage payment equals to loan approval. Approvals with no tax returns. No income verification. No employment verification. 660 credit scores. Up to 80% loan to value. 1 to 4 unit residential properties. Close in 30 to 45 days. Available in selected areas. Please contact your support team for more details.
Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and remember to hit the notification.
So there There you go. So you now can market down payment assistance. You can market for listings, and we spoke about why market for listings. So in the listing proposal, the home seller will have a way to rather than pay the 6%, the typical 6% as a fee, they could donate it to fund my home and then have that cost be reduced to virtually zero because of tax deductible uh, write-off that anyone would get. Not only that, but the benefit to the home seller will be that they're going to be able to sell the property usually at least asking price, because our home buyers don't need to bargain because they have everything they need through us to purchase their home. Number two, their sellers won't have to contribute to buyers' closing costs because we help them with the payment assistance and closing costs. So there is no need for them to bargain. So sellers will end up paying virtually nothing to sell it, have a property that could sell faster because we are advertising in that listing that there is down payment assistance, and then end up having full offers. No, they will have a higher net by not having to pay any type of closing costs. So it benefits the seller, and it benefits the associate, it benefits the home buyer, it benefits our company. Everyone wins. So we have down payment assistance, we have now the home sellers, and now today we're speaking about the commercial real estate. So whoever you have, if it's not a home buyer, they can go directly to create a customer ID number on the main menu, and there, once they create it, they will arrive at this account area where they can manage themselves accordingly. This real estate investor or this home seller could choose to later become an associate member, and there is a tab there for them to become an associate member, and all this will follow the genealogy, so they will always be your customer. If somebody comes in directly and from the get-go wanting to be an associate member, the way to do that would be to go all the way down to the page, scroll down to careers, and enroll as an associate member. So the thing to remember is to make sure that when you are prospecting associate members, home buyers, home sellers, investors, when you're prospecting anything, if you're prospecting for fundraising, that you make sure that you gave them your website. Now, the sales funnels, Stuart asked if they will go directly to the lenders, and it will not. It will go directly to you, so you could make acquaintance with your prospect, and then you will direct him to your website. Okay, so let's go to the sales funnel library. And someone had asked and made comments about the funnel, the homepage showing up in a way that didn't look like there was anything to scroll down with. So we made a little bit of change. So now it is more noticeable that there is more to look and there is something to scroll down for. So open any of them, perhaps open accountants or, okay. So before, all these funnels, the homepage of this funnel was a little written in larger letters, so it didn't let people the appearance that there was more to see. So we simply reduced the size of the letters to make it more visible, and we just wrote simply scroll down to continue. So there you go. People should be able to now notice that there is more to read and more to scroll. So that's how we did it, and thank you for the suggestion. And anything that you guys need, let us know. We'll make adjustments, we'll make changes, and that is that. There was another question, Scott. What was the other question about this?
Let's see, I don't have Scott's mic open. I think the question we had about the commercial, if they went to the funnel and it went directly to the lender. If that is that the question you're looking
Oh,
for? Did
no,
Scott have-
okay, shit. The other question was, scroll down all the way to the bottom, please.
Hey, Scott, if
The
you
other
want to,
question was the calendar. So go all the way to the bottom and
Yeah,
where
that was it, the
people,
calendar.
the calendar, right? So go to all the way down, Ken, please.
there.
Are you all the way down?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the calendar. So if you press there, please, on the calendar, Ken has his configure, correct?
Well, actually, I'm a Mrs. Jones. I can go to mine.
Mrs. Jones, okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is that if somebody hits on the calendar and it's not configured, then it's going to go to Calendly and it's not going to do anything because you took them to Calendly, to the calendar system. So what you have to do is to configure your funnel. It's a one-time configuration, is to configure your back office. So go to Mrs. Jones, and that's good enough.
Okay, I've got mine up now. If you want to look
Go
at that.
yours, okay. So right, so now you went to your sales funnel. Now go to your back office. I mean,
Through my website back office.
so yes, you could go to your website, which is a premium back office, and we also have standard back offices.
Okay, let me get out of this one.
So
Here.
the way to configure your sales funnel calendar, it will be as follows. He's going to show you in a moment. It's very simple. No, what you like to do, Ken, is go to your account,
Yeah,
to your back office.
to my actual back office. Okay.
Right. Yes. Or you could go to Mrs. Jones. So go to the front of the page and just go to the account area like you were showing before.
Too many things open here. Hold on a second. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this.
Right. So I guess back up a couple of times.
This should be my back office.
Okay, good. So this is the premium back office, and the same tab will be also on the standard back office. So in the premium back office, you go to the left navigation bar and go to personal account. And you will see this a number of tabs. So right there, you have the same thing. You have associate, home buyer, home seller, investor, and then profile and some of the future things. But then on the right, towards the right, you have well, it's not actually there. Something didn't work today on the premium. I need to speak to the programmers here, but can go back to the front of the page, please. And
Website.
to the website.
Okay.
Okay. And just go to create, go to customer ID. And return as a user.
Can we go in as home buyer or?
Yes, please. Home buyer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so right here, the person just created an account or the person just returned to the account area. Now, who can return to the account area? Anyone. Home buyers, associates, home sellers, investors, anyone involved with fundmyhome.org can return to their account area just like that by entering their email address, which is their username, and entering their own password, and they will arrive at the account area accordingly. So in this case, the tab right there would be the one that says calendar link. So press in there, please. And in here is where the associates being in the website will enter their Calendly address. Of course, you have to go first. You have to first have to go to Calendly to get your own calendar. Once you get it, it's going to say Calendly/Ken. So you just simply type there Ken or whatever account you had. So you type, and you don't have to type Calendly, just simply, it will be /Ken or whatever you chose when you opened when you created your Calendly account. Now this, we show everybody when they first become an associate member. We teach everybody, we give them a full orientation, we give them a whole run of the entire website. But if you need help, all you have to do is send a email to support and let them know that you want to configure your calendar, because when you begin to do marketing and somebody wants to press on that appointment for your calendar, you want to make sure that you have a calendar and that your calendar is connected to your system, to your genealogy, etc. So that is the answer to those who are testing the system and they are noticing that the calendar is not their calendar. So create your own calendar, then configure that address into this calendar link that you could go to your own back office, whether you have premium or standard. And that's it. So if you need help, all you have to do is send a text, an email message to support, and we will help you with that. Okay, so why don't we open the mics and ask and answer some questions.
Okay, let me bring that up. Okay, if you'd like to ask a question, go to your name over to the right there and raise your hand. And I will ask you to open your mic. All right, Patricia, thank you for your question. I've unmuted you. Unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My question is regarding builders in our area, in the Maryland area. Is there a way I can find out what builders we're connected with? Because there's some houses being built right in my backyard, and I would like to see if I can get to people before they go in there.
Okay. Hi, Patricia. So,
Hi.
right, so there are builders all over the country.
Mhm.
What you want to make sure is that we are servicing that state first, okay? So you will see that on the front of the page, the number of states that we're servicing today. So if you want to mingle and visit and get acquainted with local builders, great, do that, you can. Later, or so when you're speaking to the actual home buyer, make sure that the home buyer first gets registered, that the home buyer submits the pre-qualification questionnaire, and they get their approval, so that we could get them a full approval, not a pre-qualification, not a pre-approval, but a full underwriting from one of our lenders, so that we could then present them to these builders that you've been talking to. So if you know a particular builder that wants to work with us, great. If you don't have one, once you have a home buyer approved, all you have to do is go to the Zillow and in your area, do a search for local builders, and you could find the builders that are building. These are local and national builders building in your local area. So we do have a video about that in our website in the section that says national builders. So again, don't send a home buyer to the builder first, because if you do, the builder is going to take them as if they were their customer, and then they're going to lose the opportunity to get down payment assistance from us because the builder will not want to negotiate because they would think and consider that they came to them from their own efforts, from their own marketing efforts. So you could talk to any builder you want and get everybody acquainted, but when you're ready to do a transaction, make sure that you register your customers first and get it approved before you introduce them to the realtor, to introduce them to the builder. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, we have Bruce. Your mic is unmuted. Unmute on your end, please.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, Ken, the graphic for the commercial,
Right.
it does say commercial, but in the video, I think it states it right. It's residential investment. I think that's going to confuse people because residential is 1 to 4 units, 5 and above is commercial, and we're not doing commercial properties. We're only doing 1 to 4 residential. Can we drop the word commercial to make that fit for now? And I think that's going to confuse people.
And yes, Bruce, you're absolutely right. Yes, that already has been dropped, by the way. So
Excellent.
it doesn't say commercial anymore because it's residential investment. And
Okay, excellent.
you're absolutely
Hey, now,
right.
Just curious, could it also be for a refinance or is it strictly for purchase?
It is it's for purchases and refinances. The
Perfect.
video and the web page content, it will tell you that you can now market for friends and family to purchase or finance residential investment real estate. Well, it actually says
Excellent.
commercial, but the commercial is it drives the point. So there's a little bit of a hesitation on whether to be very specific because not very many people
Right.
are aware of that extinction like you just did.
Right.
It will be easier to say up to 4 units than to really make somebody understand why is the difference. So, but those are some of the little things that we're contending with to the terminology, the common sense terminology. But thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Bruce. Let's go to Paul. You're unmuted. Unmute yourself, please.
Yes, had a couple of questions. How many properties can a investor do?
Great question. So it is unlimited properties. There is no limit. You could have 10, 20, 50, or 1. It doesn't make, there is no limitation to that.
Okay, can they do more than 1 at a time?
They can if the transaction is necessary and it makes sense. Because remember, there is no income verification. It is all based on the property. So if all the 10 properties, they're all bringing in positive cash flow, then they will all be approved.
Can they be totally rehabs? I mean, can they be gutted or what? How do you determine if
they will have to be rehabbed and they will have to be, this is not a construction loan.
Okay.
Or a rehab loan. The property will have to be ready for rental.
Okay.
You could use it to purchase an existing property, or you could use it to recover your investment that you spent while you were rehabbing it. But this is not a construction loan.
Okay, next we have Mr. Joe Leach. You're unmuted on my end. If you can unmute your mic at your end, Mr. Joe Leach.
Thank you very much. The question is, are the commercial/residential program available in all of the states or only the current states that we're doing the standard fund my home loans, such as Texas and Florida?
Well, no. Last week we had listed the states where this commercial transaction is available in. But today we decided to remove the specifics because what it will do is it will make us have to revise and revise, because more and more will begin to make this program available nationwide. So rather than having now 4 or 5 or 6, 7 states, we simply write available in selected areas. All you have to do is simply ask, or perhaps we could put it on the bottom of the content, but not on the video. So thinking about that, Joe Leach, thank you. I think that we are going to relist it, not so much on the flyer, but relist it on the content of the page, where you went to the account area and you went to investors. You'll be seeing it there beginning tomorrow.
Thank you. Then
the
is
state-
Pennsylvania one of the selected areas?
Pennsylvania, Ken, do you see that now in your flyer?
I do. Pennsylvania is available.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Joe.
Next up, we have Bruce. Unmute yourself, please. What's your question?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. Then as far as for the commercial program, rate and terms, are they flexible? I mean, can someone do a 30-year, 15-year? How as far as that goes?
Well, let me give you an example, an actual example. So Miss Peach has a transaction, and the transaction that she has is valued at $970,000, and they are getting a full cash out, and they're getting something in the neighborhood of about $680,000 in cash out. Now, look, cash out is very limiting because banks don't like to give too much cash out because it's a much higher risk than buying a property. It's like you're walking away, so to speak, almost nobody knows. But in this case, this particular customer is getting a rate from the preferred lender in the mid fives. So it's a very competitive rate on a very high cash out loan to value and very high cash out loan amount. Now, of course, if the loan amount was low, then it wouldn't be such a problem having a high loan to value. But this is both a high loan to value and a high actual cash out amount, and still is only at mid fives. The term, it could be done on either 30 years or 40 years to be able to stretch the qualification, but also could be done on interest only to further stretch the qualification. So the longer the term and being interest only can result in a lower payment, which means that you need less rent. But again, the beauty of this is that most properties are going to yield much more than the mortgage payment, because again, if you have a property worth $970,000, I can assure you that this property is bringing in at least $10,000 a month in rent, and that mortgage amount will not even come near $5,000 or $6,000. So one by one, it's very likely that all the deals can be approved. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. Let's go to Marion. Unmute your mic, please. We're almost at the top of the hour. We have a couple more questions. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, with the investment property purchase, does the property need to be listed by a realtor or listed in the MLS, or can it be a property for sale by owner?
It can be, there is no restriction to who listed it, if it's listed or not. It could be a refinance, it could be a purchase, it could be anything. It does not have to be listed by any realtor or any system or any service.
Okay, we have our last question. Helen, go right ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I have two questions. can the selling agent or broker get commission on the property that he's selling and also get the marketing fee of the $7,500?
No, they could get their commission, but they couldn't get a marketing fee because the marketing fee is the same as a commission. But one that we give as us working together and you marketing for our company, but then basically both really almost mean the same. So if they get a real estate commission, they got what they were looking for.
Okay.
Thank you, Helen. And the
One
other?
more question, please. One more question, real quick. Could this property ever get foreclosed on?
Of course, if you don't pay the mortgage, they're going to put an immediate action against it. That's just normal.
Okay, we're at the top of the hour. Scott, did you want to say anything before we close out? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I think what I would like is, I would like any of us here tonight to come up and give us any comments of what you see here as far as what we have tonight. Any comments, anyone that would like to speak about what we have at hand.
Okay. I have, well, I don't have any. Let's go. Daphne, I've got you. Well, she keeps disappearing. Anybody have comments?
Comments, suggestions, requests?
Daphne, I'm going to try and get you in here real quick. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead, Daphne.
Yes, okay. Carlos, this commercial transaction or what you have is excellent because, as I said, I am in the market and the rate that you're talking about is excellent for commercial and also stated income with no tax return. That is unbelievable. I really appreciate that. And while I have you, while I have you on the phone, what about those deals that I sent in?
Oh, okay. So those are in, okay. So let's talk so everybody understands your question, because I don't want anybody to get this misconstrued, okay? We are marketing for the specific program that we spoke about this week and last week, which is 1 to 4 units, no income verification, no tax returns, no job listed, 5.5% average, 20% down, 1 to 4 units. That's what we're showing, and we're giving people to market so that it's easy to do, easy to understand, easy to market. Okay. If there are any other transactions that they don't fit exactly what we're trying to promote right now, we will look at them and entertain it because it's very valuable to us, because it's important to you. And we're going to look at them very honestly as a accommodation for the time being, as a case-by-case, especially accommodation for the associate. But this is, we're not marketing anything else but what you're seeing tonight. So I want everybody to understand that there may be something out there that is not fitting, and we're gonna get to them, Daphne.
Okay.
And I also can tell you that we have a couple of very nice associates that brought some very good transactions, very doable transactions from dear friends and dear family members of theirs. People that would give their church for these associates, being friends and family. And they will give them tremendous amount of flexibility, knowing that they get a good transaction and knowing that their friend and family might get such a lucrative, handsome payout. So what we're seeing is there's a great flexibility, but some of those transactions that were very doable, they are not the ones that we're promoting today. We will get to them and we're going to disposition them. So I just want to clarify that there isn't anything lingering that has to do with our program, but we are going to to accommodate and look at it, all of them. So there is a lot of different transactions that are coming through from different people.
Okay, Barry, you have a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, quickly, Carlos, are you open to suggestions on how we can possibly make the website better as far as home buyers where to go and investors where to go and click, click, click? If you are, then I can think of a few things and, you know, give it to you in a later
Sure,
time.
100%. Of course, we are, certainly. And some of the proposals might be difficult to implement because we have this type of websites that they have genealogy, and now we have 4 different individuals. We have associate members, home buyers, home sellers, and real estate investors, and they all have to somehow connect back and forth, left and right, up and down within the genealogy. So it's not an easy task to be very, very, very artistic. There is some rigidity, but I understand what you're saying. There's gotta be easy to see, easy to digest. So yes, we will absolutely, definitely have a conversation with you if you have some very good insights.
Great. I guess he can reach you at support@fundmyhome.org.
Of course.
And you're welcome to copy me because I'll do a follow-up as well. Okay, thank you, Barry. I have Marion on now. Go ahead and unmute your mic. What's your comment?
Yes, hello again. Yes, I just wanted to ask about rates. Are they going to be competitive? And maybe you could tell us a range if you can.
Okay, well, thank you. So, Ms. Peach, why don't you answer that question since you already have some information about this? Are you there, Ms. Peach?
Yeah, hi guys. Hi, Miriam. In regards to the rate and the transaction that I have in now that Fund My Home is, writing up the quote for, the rate's fantastic. I had already shopped around for this particular client of mine, and being in the mid 5s with a high LTV on the cash out, I wasn't able to find anything better. Matter of fact, everything else I got was probably about 2% higher on average from when I was looking around, and I'm a seasoned bird looking for good deals. So the rates are more than competitive. I have to say, they're going to category of being outstanding. The other comment I wanted to ask, question I had with Carlos, did I hear correctly that there's a possibility of a 40-year term on the commercial? Did I hear that right, or was I wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so
when necessary.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just options are there.
Mm-hmm. So,
right.
but also 40 years, but also when it's necessary, once again, it can be done as an interest only for qualifying purposes.
Okay. That's actually, just to have that option as a possibility is fantastic. The other thing, if it's a seasoned investor in general that does a transaction and they come back again and they have a good track record behind them as far as being a commercial investor, is there a possibility of say a 15% down payment as opposed to 20?
There's always compensating factors. It definitely, it most likely will have to do with the property.
Okay.
The property is what's going to hold the weight, the type of property, the income potential, etc. But yes, there is flexibility here from us in this new venture.
Okay, especially when the income is on the higher side.
Exactly. So there is a number of things. So you got a very seasoned investor with stellar history, and the income, the property is just a very strong, marketable property, very high rental. Things can change a little bit.
Okay. All right, that's fantastic. Thank you. I think this commercial rollout on this is just the first phase of the commercial programming that's being rolled out. If this is what's to come, this is truly going to be outstanding for anyone who wants to get their teeth into this.
And look, Ms. Peach, look, The payouts are phenomenal. Okay, so to say that somebody brings a transaction and that can share in a total of $32,000 is magnificent. Is again without competition.
Well, the really the part here is you're basically just making a clean referral and your hands don't have to deal with anything else. That to me is a sweet deal.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we're going to bring transactions, we're going to perfect this, and we're not going to get too complicated until we perfect each other. This is why we brought in this simple transaction to see, understand, and promote. And then we bring others, of course.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Ms. Peach.
Okay, we have Marion coming back. Let me go ahead and unmute you and go right ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have clarified that. I was asking for really the cost of funds, you know, a rate or a range for the cost of funds.
The cost of funds?
Like closing costs.
Oh, well, no, those are
brokering, and, you know.
the closing costs that has all to do with the service providers, with the title companies, with the local taxes, the stamps, documentary stamps, to do with the insurance, the impounds, and really most of it. And some of it is going to be some underwriting fees, but you know, the majority is just third-party costs, taxes, etc. So closing costs will be ordinary custom closing costs.
Oh, sorry, I muted her out there. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you had a follow-up.
I'm sorry, brokerage fees, or you know how they will, other lenders will charge, you know, 3, 4, 5%.
How many percents?
Well, back in the day, 5% brokerage.
Right.
Brokerage.
See, and here's the interesting, guys. She's right. Lenders in the commercial arena will charge 5% all day long when they can. And the borrowers on commercial lending will have no problem accepting it because it's all about money. If the transaction makes sense and the transaction makes you money, well, it's all part of overhead. So this is not home ownership. People are gonna go, wow, you gave me the money? Wow, I'm gonna jump on the deal right now. And they will accept it because it's going to make the client money. Nevertheless, we are much better than that. For example, in the case of Miss Peach, perhaps she's still there. She can give them a testimonial on what we spoke about fees.
Yeah, it's the traditional fees that you have in a real estate transaction, as Carlos reviewed, the state transfer taxes and so on, and the fees itself. Normally in commercial transaction, the lender would charge either 1 or 2 points. It's for the actual lender, and if there's a broker in the transaction, we would normally charge again 1 or 2 points, sometimes 3 if it's a really unusual transaction. There are some little greedy birds out there, but normally, if it's say 3%, would be the norm. Would be say 1 on the lender, 2 on the broker would be normally, because there's usually a payout between the broker, and then there's usually a consultant or an agent involved with that transaction. That's the norm. And more when you get to hard money loans and so on, that's when you're, basically giving up a kidney or two. They're more aggressive. This is all within the norm. I will have to say, however, the interest rates that we're looking at, particularly on what I've been quoted, is exceptional. Say I had shopped it myself already, and it was about 2% lower on the interest rate than what I was getting prior, and the cash out was also another good point, because it is a high cash out that my client is looking for because they want to go into other properties. So in general, this is the straight, for those that you deal in the commercial realm, this is straightforward, nothing unusual. And if anything, we're finding the rates and the term options, as far as being interest only or even a 40-year possibility to get your deal through, is magnificent. The other comment I wanted to make, normally when someone's in a new commercial deal, most lenders on commercial require that the investor own a property already before their own residential property. And they look at you really pretty funky if you're saying, I want to go into a commercial deal and you don't own something already in your name, because it's only meant to be an investment property, not owner occupied. And that's the one thing lenders do not want, is to have it, this is a means of people acquiring a property and then also making it home. So the fact that they're giving us some flexibility with, for my case, I'm giving them, a letter of intent from the city because I'm doing the city rentals, putting that in place. So it's giving us a more flexibility in getting our transactions approved that are not normally allowed. So it's really worth throwing the spaghetti against the wall. And I think you'll be happy with what you get so far. So Carlos, again, if this is the marker of the rest of the programs to come out, this is really going to be a sweet spot for many of us.
Yes, and something else, so that people to know, the fees associated in this transaction, the lender's fees, these brokerage fees that Ms. Peach spoke about, in this particular program, they are being financed on the transaction, in the transaction, so that the buyer is not even have to come up out of pocket with this. So it's being rolled in, financed into the deal. So this is another enhancement. So it's going to be a loan from the lender for you to have a good time and make a good investment and roll out with your income, however, if you're going to keep it or if you're going to sell it. So the fees can be rolled in the loan.
And another option that they are giving, because I did inquire, it does not have to be in a corporate LLC name. It could be in someone's personal name. Personally, I would not recommend that, but they do give you the option of either, Corp LLC or personal name. And personal name normally in commercial, as far as ownership on a deed, is normally not allowed. But here they're giving us that option. Again, it's something personally I don't recommend, but the fact that the option is there is something good.
So before we go in tonight, I just want to let you know and remind you that we are almost completing our new lead generation system. This lead generation system is built specifically for our company. It's built by us, but it's built for what we do. And this lead generation system is going to make those who want to turn on the machine, turn on the engine, and hit that V8 with a twin turbo and put it to work. So when we have this lead generation system, will then be applied to whatever ride you want to go on. If you're going to go on for this, that, or the other one, it's all there. So you could do your own marketing right now alone. You could do it with us together, with our system, but we are building a whole operation, not operation. We have an operation, but we're building a tremendous vehicle here. And again, we need just willing drivers. Okay, so Ken, that's it for me tonight. I want to thank everybody very, very much. And I'm very, very, very happy with the type of company that we're putting together. Again, guys, it's all up to you. I can spend my whole life putting something together, but it's up to you now for you to use it.
Okay, thank you very much, Carlos. Thank you, Scott, Miss Peach, and all of our digital marketing specialists. A very informative session tonight. And I want to welcome you all back here again next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, 9 p.m. You'll get an email in reference to our presentation. It lasts about 33 minutes, and we can give you some great stuff for your guests as well as your prospects going into becoming an associate. That's all we have for this evening. Thank you all once again. Have a great weekend. And don't forget, Scott Grimm presents at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Look at your emails. Have a good night.